high surf testing of the LVT PXD-1 was conducted in January 1966 by the West Coast Branch Amphibian Vehicle Division, Marine Corps Landing Force Development Center. Sand City, California, situated on Monterey Bay, some 430 miles north of Camp Pendleton, was selected as the test site. Suitable city-owned beach frontage was made temporarily available to the Marine Corps by the Sand City Council. The Monterey Bay area is used for high surf testing because it offers, during the winter months, the most accessible and consistently high surf on the Pacific coast. Test personnel moved to Monterey Bay on 10 January under the command of Lieutenant Colonel John F. Miniclair, officer in charge. Major Raymond R. Burling, project officer for the LVT PXD-1 test, observed the surfing series to ensure satisfaction of the test requirements. The test vehicle was rail shipped to Monterey by the vehicle design agent, FMC Corporation. 2 portable buildings used for administrative office space and instrument storage were loaned to the test unit by Fort Ord. A telephone was installed in the office, and electricity was supplied to both buildings for light and heating. A 16 by 16 pyramidal tent was used to house spare parts for 2 support LVTs. POL was stored on a metal frame adjacent to the supply tent. Parking space was allotted, as shown, for both wheeled and tracked vehicles. A 35-foot tower was erected on high ground overlooking the beach to provide optimum control of the test vehicle. A wave recorder was located beneath the control tower. The wave recorder pressure transducer was installed and anchored on the ocean floor 600 yards offshore in 50 feet of water. Wave energies picked up by the pressure head were transmitted via armored cable to the wave recorder. Waves of sufficient energy to produce the required 8 to 10-foot breakers were reported to the test officer, Captain Robert S. Colder, atop the tower. The test officer then attempted to direct the LVT to the surf zone to intercept the breakers. The tower, test vehicle, and wave recorder were linked by radio. The test vehicle was an LVT P5A1 modified to accept a Continental AVDS 1792A engine. Visible changes may be noted in the louvered engine cover and engine aspiration ducts. The vehicle interior reflects little change. The instrument panel aft was used during VDA testing. A 12,000-pound load was secured by an angle iron frame welded to the vehicle interior. Test instruments were housed in a modified radio cabinet. The test site has been prepared, the vehicle is ready, and the test officer says, "Splash." The surfing vehicle was dispatched and directed during each run by radio. Control from the tower permitted maximum wave exposure while ensuring safety of the 2-man crew. 6 poles were affixed to the test vehicle to permit observation and positive control during periods of inundation. The poles extended 8 feet above the waterline and were painted in 1-foot increments. The VDA was permitted to mount a waterproof camera atop the test vehicle. The camera, triggered by the LVT operator, was pointed alternately fore and aft. Dimension is added as we watch a wave approach, brake, and follow it over the vehicle's stern. As we look at the tractor's wake, the vehicle is approaching the next wave, a 10-footer which brakes directly on the LVT. Changes in atmospheric pressure were recorded in the cargo compartment. A maximum pressure drop of 1.2 psi was experienced during temporary inundation. A drop of this magnitude produces no physical effect other than minor pressure on the ears. The tractor turns outside the surf zone for the run toward the beach. Here we see a wave build behind the vehicle and break under the stern, plunging the bow to a depth of 7 feet. Current test procedure requires exposure of the inbound test vehicle to no less than 6 breakers of the specified height, with at least 3 breaking on top and 3 breaking on the stern or under the vehicle. Difficulty was experienced in positioning the vehicle in the surf at the proper time due to the tractor's relatively slow response and the short forewarning of approaching high surf. Once committed, the tractor proceeded to the beach. However, on occasion, at the discretion of the test officer, the vehicle was held in the surf zone, with the transmission in neutral and the engine RPM up, then directed forward as the waves approached from the stern. Again, we note the unusual effect created by the mounted camera as we watch the wave approach and pass over the vehicle. The test vehicle had some difficulty moving through the shallow water due to the coarse sand, which caused a very soft beach. A Humphrey recorder mounted inside the vehicle measured pitch and roll during each run. Maximum pitch on the outbound runs was 30 degrees, while pitch during inbound runs exceeded 60 degrees at times. Here, the inbound tractor is being followed by a high wave train visible from the control tower and confirmed by the wave recorder. The LVT is held in the surf until the wave is immediately astern. An 11-foot wave broke directly on the vehicle, turning it 70 degrees to port. The following 10-foot wave caused the oblique vehicle to roll through an arc of approximately 125 degrees. The stylus, which recorded roll motion, went off the paper. Again, by use of radio control, the LVT operator was kept abreast of the situation, aware of his vehicle's attitude relative to the beach and of the size and position of approaching surf. Anticipating the possible requirements of an emergency situation, 2 swimmers from Underwater Demolition Team 12 were on the beach during the conduct of all water operations. The UDT swimmers also proved invaluable in both the installation and recovery of the pressure head. The 2 vehicle operators used during this test series were selected a month prior to commencement of the high surf operations. These 2 men were trained in vehicle operation by the VDA at San Jose, California, and were afforded the opportunity for water driving at Treasure Island. This preliminary training, coupled with a reasonable amount of operation in moderate surf, provided the test unit with 2 skilled and confident drivers and greatly expedited accomplishment of the test requirements. The LVT PXD-1 was tested in both the loaded and unloaded conditions. 15 loaded runs were necessary to meet test requirements, followed by 14 unloaded runs. Sea and weather data were recorded during each run, in addition to the data obtained by the instruments mounted inside the vehicle. On this run, you will see that the mounted camera is again employed to give you a driver's view of an outbound run. The vehicle moves quickly through the smaller waves and is then subjected to the full force of an 8-footer. A request to the G3 at Fort Ord provided a standby corpsman who was present during all testing. The corpsman was equipped with a resuscitator. Additionally, liaison was established with the Monterey Coast Guard Station to ensure the availability of rescue craft if required. Here again, we watch as a wave builds astern, breaks under the vehicle, and plunges the bow to a depth of 6 feet. Track contact on the ocean floor caused the vehicle to turn 90 degrees to port. The driver is repositioned by the test officer and proceeds to the beach. The tractor was stopped at the end of each run to permit engineering personnel to check the instruments for serviceability and to ensure the absence of potential hazards to personnel safety. Minute traces of carbon monoxide were found in the cargo compartment, but were well within acceptable limits. The LVT PXD-1 surf tests were completed 31 January 1966.